Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So my overarching view on a successful season for Manchester United this season is a top 4 finish and possibly winning some current silverware and that. Obviously we have got big ambitions for the future. Obviously we do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to get Manchester United back to winning silverware, of course, and obviously we need, I think, our expectations this season, we'll be able to finish in that top 4. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring the correct philosophy back to the club. Obviously, he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy, and obviously, wants to bring that winning mentality back to Manchester United. I was watching some stuff, Gary Neville said the other day, and he believes we'll win the league again, before Liverpool do. But I don't think we'll be winning the league this season, because I just think analysing our squad at the moment, isn't good enough to win the league. But I do believe we'll get the top 4 this season. Maybe even finish in the top 3 this season. We could even finish second, but I'm still very sceptical about Manchester United winning the league. But I did initially say that our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons and that. But obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season has got to exceed expectations with Manchester United. But I do believe anyway, the board have come to terms that they know that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough throughout the course of the summer transfer window. So I think regardless of what happens this season, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe for this season, because obviously Solskjaer didn't get all the signings that he wanted to recommend into the football club. Obviously we got 3 good signings in. We spent £148 million on Daniel James, on Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire. And obviously we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. Daniel James is still a prospect and he needs time to develop, and there's still improvements needed in his game. You've got it was good to see Daniel James also scoring his debut against Chelsea, coming off the bench. Also Wan-Bissaka, he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career, and I think he can be our right back for the next decade. And of course Harry Maguire did fantastic on his debut against Chelsea, and so I'm glad we got that experienced centre half in. I'm also glad we got that right back in, but I'm just I was very, very disappointed, of course, that we didn't recommend at least one midfielder in that. But Solskjaer did say he's delighted with our summer transfer business and that, and obviously I think he did negotiate with Ed Woodward whilst the transfer window was open with our lack of business in the current transfer market and that. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been granted. He will be back in January. He will be back of course next summer. So if we can get a couple of more players in the squad, if we can get a midfielder or 2 in, I think we definitely can win the league for next season. But like I said, our expectations this season, of course, will be able to finish in the top 4. But I did say certain players at a calibre and level would have had reservations about joining Manchester United anywhere. Because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for this season, but I think the players we was in for throughout the course of the summer, I think we will revive our interest in them players in the January transfer window. So I believe we'll go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January. I think we may go back in for Christian Eriksen in January. We may go back in for Paulo Dybala and that in January. But there were so many players on our agenda throughout the course of the summer. But like I said, it was disappointing that we didn't get all the players that we did currently want in. But I've been very, very impressed with Manchester United so far this season. Got off to a great start with a 4-0 victory over Chelsea. We also did really, really well throughout pre-season, and I think the young upcoming players are going to be a fruition this season for Manchester United. I thought there was a fruition, throughout pre-season, the young players, because we have got quite a few upcoming players, we have got quite a few Finnish players, we have got a lot of experienced players. But I do believe this season, majority, the players, will get given their opportunities and that. But, I think the young players are going to succeed at Manchester United. You've got the vast majority of Manchester United fans saying maybe we should orchestrate on loaning a couple of the young upcoming players out, because maybe they think it'll be beneficial for their future. Obviously, it'll gain them a bit more experience in that, so that could be made beneficial in that aspect, but we've got Mason Greenwood, he's obviously been assured more playing time this season as Mason Greenwood, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, explain the reason why we didn't recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because obviously to prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood and that. And obviously, the likes of Greenwood, Chong, and Angel Gomez, they're going to. I think they're going to be a big part. They're going to be a big part of the squad this season. That, but with Mason Greenwood, I think he's going to definitely succeed at Manchester United. With Chong, I think he's going to do well. But we've got quite a few young players. You've got McTominay, Pereira, and Fred. I think they're going to have a better season this season. Well, I'm hopeful they can anyway. Obviously, I thought McTominay, Pereira, and Fred, did really, really well throughout pre-season. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very sceptical about them. I don't know if they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United. I don't know if they've got all the attributes to succeed at Manchester United. McTominay, Pereira, and Fred. But they'll definitely get given their opportunities this season. My overarching view on Fred is that he hasn't really performed to the same sort of level as he did do when he was at Shakhtar Donetsk, because obviously he was exceptional at Shakhtar Donetsk, but hasn't really replicated this since he did since he made the move to Manchester United last summer. And we paid just under £58 million for him, but I think Fred did well towards the back end of last season. He also did well throughout pre-season, but to be honest with you, he never really got the opportunity under Jose Mourinho, did Fred. But I think the likes of Fred, McTominay, and Pereira, they're much better solutions than Nemanja Matic, because they're more mobile on the ball, and I do believe they are better on the ball than Nemanja Matic, because like I said, Nemanja Matic is one of the problematic players at the football club. He's aging up, he's not getting any younger, and he's too slow as well as Nemanja Matic. And people talk about what he's won in the past, and he did when he was at a couple of league titles with Chelsea. He's highly experienced, and we have seen glimpses of how good Matic can be, but you do know that I've got so many strong reservations about him. And as I did say, I've got concerns of element in that midfield, and we're lacking in that midfield. But I did say obviously it was going to be hard for us to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window, and obviously it's been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer anywhere as a Manchester United manager. But analysing our squad now as it stands, I think it's definitely good enough for a top four finish in that. But like I said, we have got big ambitions for the future, and obviously Solskjaer did confirm anyway that at the start of the summer, wasn't he? He wanted to build a squad, with the club's history and that. He wanted to buy into our history, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, had been given a substantial amount to spend. But like I said, he explained to Solskjaer how much of a difficult window it is, especially when you're not in Champions League football. It's going to be hard, for you to get all the players that you do want in. But for the majority of the summer, we was actually in search for a right winner. But as I have been analysing the games, throughout pre-season, and I watched the game against Chelsea, and that, I can see the improvements already in the squad. I think the likes of Paul Pogba, Paul Pogba, when he's at his best form, he's one of the best midfielders in the world, and he is, of course, like two players in one, and we have seen him at his best at Manchester United, Paul Pogba. Don't get me wrong, since he rejoined Man United in 2016, he has been largely inconsistent, really. Majority of, the other 3 years he has been widely inconsistent, but I think in pre-season against Chelsea, I thought he did really, really well, because obviously Pogba had provided 2 assists against Chelsea in that. But like I said, Paul Pogba is good at passing the ball. He makes a difference in that midfield, and I think Rashford's really, really good at receiving Paul Pogba's passes, and I think Rashford is really, really good at getting them runs in behind. I think Martial's speed is also very, very good, and I think we do look much better now in that attacking third of the pitch. Because we've got that pace now up front, and that's something, of course, with that last season was that pace, and this is the main factor reason why last season wasn't scoring enough goals. This is why I wasn't ruthless enough in front of a goal, because obviously wasn't we didn't have enough pace in that attacking third of the pitch. We only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season. I think we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season, and that was our highest total, of course, in 40 years. But we do look much better now in that attacking third of the pitch, because I think we're going to score a lot more goals this season. You've got Daniel James with fantastic pace. His pace is absolutely electrifying. You've got Martial and Rashford. They're going to be a fruition this season. Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. And that obviously they're developing really, really well. Martial's 23, Rashford of course is only 21, and it's good to see Rashford obviously getting 2 goals against Chelsea, also Martial getting his name on the score sheet. They was inconsistent in the last couple of months last season, but I think they've done so well so far. They did well throughout pre-season, and I think they're going to do well this season, providing that they don't sustain many injuries, because I think they sustained quite a few injuries last season. Did Rashford and Martial. But Martial, as you all know, though, has been given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, Martial will play, obviously, more centrally this season, because I think he seems to be more effective in that position. Maybe a couple of times we'll play Rashford centrally, but you can, Rashford and Martial can both play out wide, so they can both play on each flank. They can both play centrally, and I think Rashford looks very, very good centrally, but I think Martial seems to stand out more centrally. But we do look much better now in that attacking third of the pitch. And I'm very, very glad now that we look much better defensively. Our defensive transition, looks really, really good now. And I don't think we're going to leak nowhere near as many goals as we did last season. Because obviously now we've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof as a centre-back partnership. And I think they complement each other, really, really well. The Harry Maguire and Victor and Lindelof. And that was good business for Manchester United, getting the deal over the line for Harry Maguire. Obviously, probably we did overpay for Harry Maguire a bit. We did overpay for him, but like I said, it was good business from the club, getting him in, Harry Maguire, because I think he is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League. Not the best, I'd say Virgil van Dijk is regarded as the best centre-half in the league. I think Laporte's probably second. So I'd say Harry Maguire is definitely in the top 4 or top 5 category of one of the best central defenders in the world and that. But obviously we do know we'll look much better now defensively. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-back partnerships are obviously going to be a Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, of course. So he may rotate, in the cup games and that Solskjaer, but I think in the league games he'll go with Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof as centre-back partnership. But I like Harry Maguire a lot because his distribution's good, shows that ability to play out from the back. Also, very, very good in the air and that. Not very fast, Harry Maguire, but I don't think that's a concern development. And still, 26 years of age, and of course, still got a lot of development in him. So I think he's got all the ingredients required, to become a huge success at Manchester United, Harry Maguire. And he's obviously, the best option than what we've currently got in our defence at the moment. It's Harry Maguire. Don't get me wrong, he's still probably question marks around Victor Lindelof. Can he keep the consistency up? And I do believe, Victor Lindelof is flourishing at Manchester United. He is flourishing at Manchester United. Lindelof was really, really good against Chelsea, held his line well. I thought he also did very, very well in pre-season, and he also did well in his second season with Manchester United. Victor Lindelof, I've seen vast improvements in his game. His distribution's looking better. He's passing the ball really, really well, and he's galloping forward more as Victor Lindelof, which is really, really good to see. Obviously, didn't really settle in his first season, Victor Lindelof. That consistency and all that. But I thought there was vast improvements in his second game, and I think he started this season really, really well. And he's been at the club now over 2 years. As Victor Lindelof. But I do believe, more players need to be sold by Manchester United. Obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, 4 players have departed the football club since he's left. Obviously, a lot of players have left over the years and that, but since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, 4 players have left Manchester United. Obviously, it got confirmed that Romelu Lukaku had left there last week. Obviously, he's currently gone to Inter Milan, and I think it was very, very good business for Manchester United. Getting rid of Romelu Lukaku, because obviously he was one of the problematic players in the club, and obviously it's good business as well, because in terms of what we've received from his departure, because basically we've recouped the money what we initially paid for him from Everton a couple of years ago, and that, so we've basically generated a substantial amount for the flop basically. Whether he does well at Inter Milan or not, I do not know. But I'm very, very happy, of course, that we did get rid of Romelu Lukaku. It's also freed up our wage bill, because when, Lukaku was at the football club, he was on over 200 odd grand a week, and he still initially had 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. But very, very happy, we got rid of him. Obviously, Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know that Ander Herrera, of course, left. Also, Marina Fellaini left. So they're the 4 players that have left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Sorry guys, just got a bit of a cough. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has brought 3 good players and that to the club. And I did say, we've I think we've had cultural problems in the last 6 or 7 years, but I don't like the way the football club has been run, in the last 6 or 7 years. But a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club and all that. Obviously we've had different managers with different philosophies. Obviously, we do know that 3 managers have been sat, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. That's obviously, this is the 4th manager, this is the fourth manager, we've had, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But like I said, it got quoted out that we spent around £968 million in the last 6 years, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. So that's just under £1 billion, we've spent in the last 6 years or so. Sorry guys, just got a bit of a bad cough. That's what we spent. That's what we spent over the last 6 years and all that. But like I said, we've got a history of spending a big on players, especially in recent years. We paid £8 to £9 million for Paul Pogba. He's obviously our most expensive sign. We also paid, £75 million for Lukaku. Obviously, we paid £60 million for Di Maria back under Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, we paid £50 million for Wan-Bissaka this summer. We also paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. Obviously, they're our list of our most expensive signings, but the actual most expensive signing is Paul Pogba, of course, who we paid £89 million for on that. And I've been frustrated, with the lack of silver, in the last 5 or 6 years, we haven't really won much. We won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal era back in 2016. Obviously, won the Europa League and League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season and that. But obviously, I hope it worked out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And like I said, it's good that the board are backing him and that, because obviously, I think the vast majority of Man United fans, including me, would have criticised the board and also criticised Ed Woodward, for not obviously, for not us, getting all the signings there that we do. What we did, currently won in the football club and all that. But like I said, we haven't got the structure basically, to keep sacking managers. Like I said, we've already sacked 3 managers already. So like I said, I've already given you the reasons why it didn't work out under Mourinho. Even though Mourinho had, that proven pedigree, obviously he won trophies everywhere he was. And back in the day, Mourinho was regarded as one of the best managers in the world. But obviously, his tenure was never going to last at Man United. I think he was at Man United like 2.5 years, but his tenure was never going to last when, he had bad disputes with the board. Reflecting back last summer, the board weren't back in the signings that he wanted to recommend into the football club. He had bad disputes with the top players here. Obviously there was no sort of winning philosophy under Mourinho. There was no, there was no sort of transfer strategy and that. So this is the reasons, why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho. Even though Mourinho just spent under £400 million at Manchester United on 11 players. On 11 players in that. So this is basically why it didn't work out under him. Under Louis van Gaal, obviously, he had a proven pedigree in that, before he came to Manchester United, because he did quite well with Bayern Munich and that in Germany. But I just don't think he had the correct philosophy at Manchester United. But he recommended a lot of players into the football club, and obviously, still some of them are here now. Obviously, under David Moyes, it didn't work out under him. Obviously, David Moyes only had a short tenure with the club. I think he only lasted around 8 or 9 months, because obviously he was never proven anywhere before he came to Manchester United. Obviously it was actually Alex Ferguson, at the time, that recommended, David Moyes to come into Manchester United, because I think the main factor reason is because probably, they're both Scottish and all that, but that was a mistake that Manchester United, did do. I think the lowest we've finished, is probably, 7th, and that obviously, came under the David Moyes era. But like I said, we've actually failed to qualify for the Champions League, 3 times out of the 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's time. But looking at, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's inheriting, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Like I said, he's still inheriting, players here from the Van Gaal era. He's still inheriting, Juan Mata here from the David Moyes era. And don't forget, there's still players here from the Alex Ferguson era, and there's still now long-serving players at the football club. Obviously, there's obviously players that have left that were long-serving players at the football club. Don't forget, in recent years and all that. Obviously, Valencia left after 10 years. Don't forget, he was a long-serving player. Obviously, we do know that Wayne Rooney left after he served 13 years there with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know that Ryan Giggs had stopped playing after he served 24 years with Manchester United. And so we've had quite a lot of, we had Michael Carrick. He was a long-serving. Obviously, now he's one of the coaches, but he was a long-serving at Manchester United. I think he spent around, about 12 or 13 years at Manchester United. And like I said, there's still players here now that have been long-serving players. Smalling's still here, and he's been here 9 years. You've got Jones, of course, that's been here 8 years. Obviously, you've got Ashley Young, that's been here 8 years. Of course, you've got David De Gea, of course, that's been here 8 years. So yeah, quite a few long-serving players, but I think with Smalling and Jones, I think it's a bit pointless them being here now because obviously they're going to find game time very, very difficult. Smalling and Jones, and I just don't think they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United anywhere. Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, because obviously they're too inconsistent now. They're aging up, and it was a bad business for Manchester United. Last season, giving them two new long-term contracts and that. But I didn't actually say anyway with the arrival of Harry Maguire, I think we should orchestrate on selling at least one central defender, because analysing it now, we've got a lot of central defenders. I think we've got around 7 central defenders in that, so I think we do obviously need to get rid of one. I think we are orchestrating on keeping Alex Tuanzebe at the football club, but I think due to the serious knee injury that Eric Bay had sustained, obviously we do know that Eric Bay is out injured until Christmas with a serious knee injury, and I think Eric Bay is a very imperative player. His stability, and that's really, really good, and we do know how imperative he is, but I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained. And obviously Eric Bay has been at the club over 3 years now. I think we paid £30 million to him from Villarreal, back in 2016. But yeah, he's currently out with serious knee injury. But with Tuanzebe, my overarching view on him is I think he should get given his chances this season. Obviously, Alex Tuanzebe, did well on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season, and he's quite good. Is Alex Tuanzebe. Some people said maybe we should orchestrate on loaning him out for another season, but obviously, I think, due to the injury of Eric Bay, I think we are orchestrating on keeping Alex Tuanzebe for now. I think we need to get rid of Marcus Rojo, because he's one of the problematic players at the football club. Obviously, we do know there was rumours emerging out, was it on deadline day, that Everton, of course, had inquired about getting Marcus Rojo. Obviously, Rojo's been at the club now, 4 or 5 years. I think mainly, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time, reflecting on his injuries he has sustained, because he has sustained quite a lot of injuries, since he became a Manchester United player. Rojo, he's still got just under 2 years left on his contract, I think. Obviously, we do know Rojo he's now 29 years of age, if I'm right. I think he did really, really well, throughout pre-season. Did Rojo, but obviously Rojo doesn't really get in the team now anyway. I know he can play centrally, he can play on the left-hand side, but I just think it's pointless, him being here. I think we put around the £25 million valuation on Rojo, but obviously don't forget, we've still got until the 2nd of September, to negotiate the sale of players. Obviously, we do know that the English transfer window shut, but obviously, the European transfer window doesn't shut until the 2nd of September and that. So I think we need to get rid of Rojo. I think we also have got the same thoughts about Darmian. I think we also need to get rid of him, because he's one of the problematic players at the football club is Matteo Darmian. Obviously, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. Obviously, Darmian has not really, been given the chance. Let's be honest, he hasn't really been given the chance. And obviously, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back and that. And I think if we can get rid of Rojo and Darmian, maybe we could generate around 30 or 35 million pounds for their departures. So that would be very, very good business for Manchester United, of course, if we can offload them. Obviously, we have got quite a few fullbacks in the team as well. Don't forget, we've got Wan-Bissaka now, obviously, who's our first choice right back, and I think Wan-Bissaka's distribution is good. He can intercept really, really well, and he's going to succeed at Manchester United. I probably think he's regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. I think Ash Young is actually the backup for Manchester United now. He's the backup. Obviously, we've got Diego Dalot as well. I think he played quite a few times throughout pre-season. Diego Dalot, though, is versatile because he can play as a right back. I think he can play as a left back, and also can play as a right winger. Well, we played Dalot quite a few times on that win last season. I think we also put him to left back a couple of times. With Ashley Young, obviously he's predominantly a right back, just like Diego Dalot is young, but you can also put Young on the left. I think we've put Ashley Young as a right winger and that before. We've got Luke Shaw, of course. He's obviously our first choice left back, and we do know how imperative Luke Shaw is, because obviously he won the double player of the season last season. Reflecting on his impressive performances. But I always said, we do look okay on that left-hand side. And I initially said that left-hand side, didn't really need addressing. I had more concerns of that right-hand side, to be quite honest. So I'm happy we got the right back in. I'm just disappointed, of course, that we didn't get a right winner in. There's quite a few winners on our agenda, throughout the course of the summer and that. But like I said, Solskjaer, throughout the course of the summer anyway, was talking about our recruitment policy. And analysing, our recruitment policy, isn't very, very good, especially in last couple of windows prior to this one, you know, we didn't obviously, you know, we haven't been competitive for this summer transfer window anywhere, but we didn't get anyone in January, you know, we didn't get our number one targets last summer and that. So, like I did initially say, you know, I don't like the way that the club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years or so, is it? I don't like the way the club's been running the last 6 or 7 years. As I did give you an update earlier on in regards to Alexis Sanchez, I think, you know, the club are working really, really hard, you know, to offload Sanchez. And obviously, throughout the course of this summer transfer window, obviously, you know, we were trying to get rid of Sanchez, but obviously, you know, found it very, very difficult. Obviously, you know, reflecting on his substantial wages, because obviously we do know that Sanchez is obviously, you know, the highest paid player at the club. He's obviously, you know, the highest paid player in the Premier League. Obviously, his potential, he's on 400 grand a week, you know, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, you know, based on the image rights and the bonuses and that. I think the only way probably we could get rid of Sanchez if we put him out on a long season loan. So obviously we do know reports emerged out, was it early on this week or was it last week, you know, saying that Roma had been in talks with Manchester United over the prospect of taking Alexis Sanchez on a long season loan, and it only seems to be Roma that are the club that seem to be interested in taking Alexis Sanchez on a long season loan. Probably, you know, we'd have to pay, you know, the majority of his substantial wage, you know, to get him on that long season loan, and I think Man United are willing to do that. I think reports came out saying that we would maybe have to pay over £8 million in wages, you know, to currently offload Alexis Sanchez. I think that was actually, you know, stemming out, you know, from Give Me Sport. But I think, you know, Sanchez's future, you know, is uncertain at this present time. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed, you know, that he does want to get rid of Sanchez, because obviously, you know, we've got the likes of Daniel James, Mason Greenwood, Martial and Rashford and that. Obviously, you know, Sanchez is going to find it very, very hard, you know, to get in that mix. Obviously, you know, I was reading their reports today. I updated you about this, by the way, on my previous video, and it basically, you know, came out and said, you know, Sanchez, you know, could be made to train with the Manchester United under 23 reserve team, you know, to obviously, you know, force him out of the football club and that, but his future, you know, does remain uncertain. Obviously, Sanchez wasn't part of the squad against Chelsea. Obviously, you know, wasn't part of the pre-season squad and all that, because I don't think he was part of the pre-season squad, because I think, you know, Sanchez obviously just recently, you know, not too long ago, you know, returned to training, but obviously he didn't play throughout pre-season, because I think he actually, you know, was playing, you know, on Copa America duty with Chile, and I think he actually, you know, sustained a hamstring injury, you know, whilst he was on Copa America duty with Chile and that. I think it also mentioned in the media that Sanchez had some kind of bust up with some kind of training ground bust up with Mason Greenwood and that. I think it was something to do with some kind of tackle. But I did initially say, you know, that Sanchez's wages having a really bad effect on the football club. So if we could get rid of him, you know, it would obviously free up our wage bill and that. And like I said, you know, he's obviously, you know, not first choice under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But obviously, Sanchez has been a huge disappointment anyway. You know, obviously we got him back in January 2018 from Arsenal as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan, you know, going to Arsenal and that. And Sanchez has been a huge disappointment. You know, he's lacked goals. You know, he's also become injury prone, you know, since he's become a Manchester United player. I think since his arrival in January 2018, you know, Sanchez has only made 45 appearances in all competitions and only managed 5 goals, and I think he has provided nine assists, but he hasn't exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United as we all thought he would. And, you know, reflecting back what he did at Arsenal, because he did have 4 good years with Arsenal, so obviously, you know, before he came to Manchester United anyway, you know, he was Premier League proven, won quite a few FA Cups and that with Arsenal. Obviously, you know, he even played under Pep Guardiola's guidance, you know, when he was younger at Barcelona and that, and he did really, really well there, and he succeeded there, but he just hasn't replicated many of this at Manchester United. And looking at it anyway, you know, he doesn't really have a future. You know, Sanchez, he's 30 years of age now. He is 30 years of age now, but, you know, Sanchez obviously, you know, could make the return back to Italy, because don't forget, you know, he did play, I think he played minutes, you know, when he was a lot younger, you know, with under knees and that, so I think we are now working on obviously, you know, getting rid of him. like I said, Paul Pogba, his future, still remains uncertain with Manchester United. Obviously, I've already given you the latest news about him. Paul Pogba has indicated out, he could still leave Manchester United this summer. But I think he did say, that a question mark, remains regarding his future with the club and that. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, throughout the course of pre-season, I think he's spoken to the vast majority of our players and that. And obviously, Solskjaer has actually, been speaking a lot about Paul Pogba. I think he's also spoken to Paul Pogba himself as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's spoken to Paul Pogba himself as Solskjaer, and I think Solskjaer, praised Paul Pogba and all that, because obviously deep down Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is, but obviously there's throughout the course of the summer, basically, he's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. He's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. I think his first choice preference has been Real Madrid, and his likely destination, of course, has been Real Madrid. There's obviously been talks, saying that he could make a return back to Turin, because actually, Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin, but hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United. Obviously, I said earlier on in the video, he's been widely inconsistent for Manchester United. He's done well he did well throughout pre-season. He did really, really well in the Chelsea game, and he did well in that 3-month period. when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager and that. But we still do know how much of an imperative player he is, and obviously with us not getting a midfielder in throughout the course of summer, we would desperately want to keep him on now. But if he's to stay at the football club this season, we've got to try and avoid Paul Pogba getting injured, because if he's to get injured, we haven't really got any backup there. Without Paul Pogba in that midfield, we're lacking that creativeness, and the midfield is going to look totally imbalanced, without Paul Pogba currently a minute. So like I said, when he's at his best, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. Don't forget, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And of course, he's not only on he's not only the most expensive signing, he's also, one of the highest paid players in the club. I think, if I'm right, I think last season, was it some of the players, or was it all the players that got their wages cut by 25%, with our failure, to qualify for the Champions League and that. But at the beginning of pre-season, you got Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he came out and said that Paul Pogba is in the process of leaving the football club. I still think he's keen on leaving, is Paul Pogba. Obviously, he's still keen on leaving, because obviously it got confirmed a couple of months ago. Paul Pogba said, he wants to seek a new challenge. Obviously, wants to rejuvenate his career, and he even publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United and all that. And he even did say he was orchestrating on, putting a transfer request in. I think Real Madrid have held negotiations with us regarding the sale of Paul Pogba, but I think we're very adamant that Paul Pogba's not for sale. It did quote out that we would want what we would want for the player, and it did report say want around 180 million pounds. But obviously Real Madrid are unwilling to pay this. Obviously 180 million pounds. So basically we're demanding just over double than what we initially paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. Because obviously we paid 89 million pounds for him from Juventus back in 2016 and that. But with Real Madrid, their transfer window's still open and all that. Like I said, the European transfer window still remains open. Obviously Real Madrid have done good business this summer. They've spent around 300 million pounds on 5 players and that. They're still looking to do further more investment. Actually, Christian Eriksen has been on Real Madrid's agenda, and I think Christian Eriksen's actual preference is a move to Real Madrid, because I think obviously he wants to leave Tottenham, like he did confirm back in June. But I think actually Real Madrid's first choice preference is Pogba ahead of Christian Eriksen. Probably Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba. But actually it confirmed early on in the summer that actually Tottenham wanted around 130 million pounds for Eriksen, but actually now it did confirm that they'd lowered their asking price, and they would accept bids in the region of around maybe 60 or 70 million pounds for Christian Eriksen. But don't forget, we went in for Eriksen, in the couple of days, before our deadline day, we inquired about getting Christian Eriksen, but we initially, currently dropped our interest. But yeah, so I know how much of an imperative, player that Paul Pogba is. But don't forget, with Real Madrid, they did generate some of the money back, that they've spent this summer, because obviously, they did manage to sell a couple of players. I think they generated around 100 million pounds for their departures. With Juventus, they've also done good business this summer. I think with Juventus, so for them to get Paul Pogba back, I think they'd probably have to offload 1 or maybe 2 of their essential players, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I just don't think, they would be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. Obviously, Juventus this summer spent a substantial amount on Matthias De Ligt. I think they paid, was it around 75 million pounds for? I can't remember. It's just an estimated figure. It's somewhere around that region anyway. I don't know what it fully is. I think it is around £75 million. Or they also paid, was it over £100 million for Cristiano Ronaldo last summer? This summer they also got Adrian Rabiot in. Rabiot in. They got Aaron Ramsey in. So yeah, Juventus have also done really really good business. But like I said, Paul Pogba's stats were very very impressive last season. He scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions. So that's very very impressive. And I think since he rejoined the club back in 2016, I think he's actually scored around 31 goals in 136, 137 games for Manchester United. So his stats are still pretty impressive. And of course he's won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. Obviously that came in his second season with Manchester United. But obviously it's not only this summer that Paul Pogba's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously last summer there was a lot of talks about Paul Pogba leaving. Obviously it was based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And obviously when Jose Mourinho left the club, Paul Pogba of course got one of his best wishes in that. And don't forget, Paul Pogba, is the most expensive player for Manchester United. He's also, World Cup winner. And he's still, 26 years of age. He has still got a lot of development minimum in that. So his future, of course, still remains uncertain. But I am desperate, of course, that Manchester United, can keep him in that. But I obviously, on my recent videos I've done, I've given my predictions of what I think is going to happen this season. Obviously, like I said, I think City will be up there for the league, definitely. City are obviously, going for their third Premier League title in 3 years, obviously. So they're going for their third title in a row, of course, because obviously, they've already won two back-to-back Premier League titles in Man City. Obviously, they'll be the favourites, of course, to, win it again this season. And obviously, City have spent a hell of a lot of their money, especially under Pep Guardiola. But Pep Guardiola is probably the best manager in the world. Obviously, he's emulating basically the football, of what he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich. And, of course, he has taken that to Manchester City as Guardiola. And that, I think City did get, what, Joe Cancelo from Juventus, throughout the course of the summer transfer window. I think that's the only player, of course, that, Manchester City got. And didn't they offload a couple of players, Man City, if I am right? But yeah, they'll be up there. I think City will probably win it against Bucharest. Liverpool, will be in there with a shout. Liverpool did come close last season. Liverpool didn't spend all this summer, but they invested well in the last couple of windows and that. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp obviously won his first major honour for Liverpool last season, of course, by winning the Champions League. Obviously, Liverpool have won the Champions League now. Is it around 6 times? I think so. They've won double than us because we've only managed to win 3. But actually, Liverpool have never won the Premier League. since it got founded back in 92, 93, was it? And they haven't won it all in all for 3 decades. So Liverpool, will be desperate to win it. But I think Liverpool, will be up there and that. So it will be. I think it will be between them two for the league. There could be more teams involved. I think maybe perhaps Tottenham could be involved. I think Tottenham, should get the top 4, but I think, with the business they did throughout the course of the window, they should be challenging. They did really, really good business, especially on deadline day, did Tottenham and that. Because obviously, before they made all these signings this summer, Tottenham, they didn't do any transfer activity in the last couple of windows and that. And But yeah, I think Tottenham should be challenging for the league this season. But I think Tottenham got the likes of Ryan Sessegnon in. I think they also got Lo Celso from Real Betis, was it? I think on deadline day. Don't forget they got Tanguy Ndombele, who they smashed their transfer record for. They paid around £65 million for Tanguy Ndombele. I think it was something like that anywhere. They also got Jack Clark in from Leeds. So Tottenham did really really good business. Got Arsenal as well. They should be. I don't think they'll win the league this season, Arsenal, but I think they should definitely get in that top 4, because they did really really good business throughout the course of the summer. Arsenal had a bad start to the summer transfer window, because don't forget they'd only been given a tight budget. Arsenal, I think they'd only initially been given around £40 million to spend in that. But they did really really well throughout the course of the window. They got good players in. They got Nicolas Pepe, and I think it's going to be a great addition to Arsenal's squad. Primarily a winner in that. Obviously, I think they got Daniel Ceballos in, was it, from Real Madrid on loan. They got William Saliba in from St Etienne. I think they actually got Kieran Tierney in as well from Celtic. But yeah, Arsenal did really, really good business in the window. With Chelsea, obviously, they've got a transfer ban, so they can't do any transfer. Well, they didn't do any transfer activity through the summer. They didn't. Obviously, they can't do any transfer activity in January, but I think they can do transfer activity next summer, because obviously, their transfer ban, of course, is then up. And Chelsea have got problems. In regards to Frank Lampard, you can't prejudge him after one game, like Frank Lampard. You've got to see how it goes. Don't forget he knows the traditions of Chelsea and that. But has he got the attributes attributes, to succeed to the highest level of management. Can he do it? And like I said, he hasn't really got the experience of a manager as Frank Lampard. Obviously, he only started management last season with Derby and that. So obviously, if Chelsea don't back Frank Lampard enough, they could suffer a miserable season and that. But like I said, I'm just disappointed, with our transfer activity. I'm glad that we did get we got 3 good players in and that. And obviously, they fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because he worked out his transfer strategy at the end of last season. But sorry, not at the end of last season, I think at the start of the summer, so he worked out his strategy. But obviously, we just didn't get all the players there that we wanted in. So you could say Arsenal had a better window than us. Probably even Tottenham, had a better window than us, and they actually, could finish above us this season, believe it or not. But I think this season, we're going to have a much better season anyway. I think we're good enough to win the Europa League this season. Obviously, we won the Europa League a couple of years ago under the Jose Mourinho era and that. But like I did say to you, regardless of who our manager is, we're never going to be the team, that we was under Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson was at the club for 26, 27 years. Obviously, it was 26, 27 years of success in that. But obviously, we're never going to be the team that was under him. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Ferguson. No one is going to obviously follow Alex Ferguson's legacy and that's obviously something we've got to accept. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man, to get us back, to being a competitive elite level football club and that, and hopefully we can do further more investment in the January transfer window. Well, I'm very, very hopeful, that we currently can't anywhere. Obviously, I've obviously, praised Manchester City. Obviously, they deserve to be praised because, they're very, very consistent now. They're a very, very good team. Probably the best team in England now, obviously, Man City and that. And I have praised them. I've basically put them in front of a team that, won the treble back in 1999. Obviously, that's obviously, one of our greatest achievements, of course. And obviously, it was one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as a player. And I also put him in front of a team, that won 3 back-to-back Premier League titles, back in 2007, 2008, and of course 2009 and that. But at the moment, City are a couple of years ahead of us. At least you could even say Liverpool are at least a couple of years ahead of us. But I think this season, I don't really think we're going to be a better team. I think our record against the top 6 sides is also going to improve, because obviously it wasn't so good last season and that. But yeah, I think, a lot of people think Manchester United are back now, and I do think we are back. I just don't think, we are going to win the league this season. But I think, next season, I think, we've got a chance of winning the league, of course, if we do get the players that we do want in to Manchester United and that. With David De Gea, his contract hasn't been announced as yet. I'm surprised at that his contract hasn't been announced. I know he's agreed a 6-year deal worth up to around £117 million over 6 years, and I think he's going to be on around 375 grand a week. But his actual, contract term has obviously not been announced yet. It should be announced. I don't know when. Sometime this season it should be, but it hasn't been announced as yet. As far as I'm aware of anywhere, it hasn't been announced. But like I said, maybe we have overpaid for players, in recent years and that. But like I said, we can afford it because we're a massive club. We've got obviously massive revenues and that. And we haven't only spent big on players. We have now got players at this present time on big contracts and that. As you all know. So anyway, guys, that's been everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.